Well, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of Heard Radio. I am That's Chiron.
And I am that boy Jay.
Hey. And we are here to hear everyone and realize differences.
While creating a safe place for Black and queer people.
Jay, what's going on? What's going on? What's going on?
Child, I'm feeling refreshed. Just a little early than usual, child.
Yeah, I did too. So if y'all don't know, me and Dave, we usually film about 8 to 9 o'clock at night.
You really don't get started till now.
We be talking about stuff and we just be like going over stuff about 8. And so then about 9 is when we really start. And it should be like, dang. But like the sun is still out while we're filming, which is crazy because usually the sun be down. I don't know, we may have to keep doing this little, because right now it's 5 o'clock, y'all. It's not 5 o'clock. It's 5:31, So
still didn't start on time.
We still ain't start on time. We said 5, but we see each other. Okay. So It's so funny because since it's giving scarce today, I think that we need to bring this segment back, our Young and Getting It.
Mm-hmm.
Because we was giving them our Young and Getting It. So if you're just not listening, we had this section called Young and Getting It. Well, we have this section called Young and Getting It. It's basically like where we just talk about like our week and how like we kind of thugged it out. We did it. We did the do. We didn't do the do. And we just young and we just getting it. So I'll go first. So this week has been a cool week. It's been very fun. My cousin is in town. It's spring break. I finally get to rest my eyes. I don't have to study and read and do all this other stuff. So it's spring break, chilling, having fun with friends, family. And like, it's just been really cool. And I would say like one thing this week I've really been like working on is just like, I've really been working on positive thinking. Like I've really been doing that. And my therapist, like she showed me how to do it. This is a while ago, but like I'm really applying those tools now. And just like, ooh, it helps. Cause I was literally I was thinking about something so negative. It was like wearing me down. I was about to cry. And I was like, okay, let me think positive. Cause a lot of times when you be in your head or when you're thinking about certain stuff or when it's like some negative stuff, you don't be really thinking about, if this is positive or not, like, okay, is this good or not? We don't really be thinking like that. But that was really helpful to see, that happened. So, Jay, what's your Young and Getting It?
Well, me on the other hand, I'm not actually on spring break. I'm in the middle of midterms right now. It's kind of kicking my ass a little bit because, I haven't been doing what I need to do, but I'm trying to get back on track. I've just been slacking off. So, what's been going on, child? I wish money grew on trees, bitch.
Who you telling?
Because when I tell you all this shit just coming left to right, hitting the bitch in the face, I'm like, well, damn, bitch. I'll give a girl a break. But no, I'm actually looking for a sugar daddy who's willing to pay all these bills. So if you're looking for a sugar baby with no sugar, hit me up because, this patty cake costs.
Well, he gonna pay it for you.
No.
Sugar daddy. He gonna give you the sugar.
No. The bills is a different type of sugar. He's not getting rewarded because he can't afford the real sugar.
Which is the ass.
I mean, if the shoe fits.
Put it on and walk down the goddamn Fifth Avenue and strut it like Naomi Campbell did.
Hey, what, like Miss Tyra Banks, honey?
Like Tyra Banks. Okay, well, y'all, those are y'all Young and Getting It, and we just young and we just getting it. So, y'all, I've seen this on the Neighborhood Talk. If you know us, we kind of do like the Neighborhood Talk, though. Even though the Neighborhood Talk, Shade Room, Spiritual World, all of them are messy pages. They're very messy. And, they spread gossip and sometimes they're lies. But, they give us our daily tea. Okay? But this wasn't so much of tea. It was something like, okay, like, I agree with this. So it was a video where Smokey Robinson, I don't know what he was doing. It looked like he was like on the phone call or whatever, video chat. I think he was on an interview or something. I didn't pay too much attention to that much of the context. But basically he said, Smokey Robinson says being called an African American takes away from the contributions that Black people make to America. And he says, I resent that. I am Black American.
Mm.
So it was crazy because I was reading the comments of that, and it was saying, I've seen a lot of people were like 50-50, like, I agree. And then some people were saying, like, I don't agree. And as I was like, okay, it was at one point where, I said, like, okay, I'm African American. And I remember just saying that, just being younger, because like that's what we're just taught. It's like we're African American. But as I started to get older, I realized that I don't know if I'm African or not. Deriving from an African like household, we have some similarities, but I don't know if I'm from Jamaica. I don't know if I'm from the Bahamas. I don't know if I am from Canada. I don't know where I am from, because our ancestors were snatched and plucked from their homes and brought here to do the white man's dirty work.
No shade. I don't know. I always think about this topic, or just this in general. Like, I'm just by myself and my mind just be running and moving. I think, me personally, it depends on who's saying it and where it's coming from. I really don't prefer to be called Black, because I'm not Black. My skin isn't Black. I'm an African American, or really African descent in America, really. No shade. But I just don't like when the YT people say, oh, the Black people or the Blacks. Hold on now, sister girl. You need to pump your brakes, because what's the Black people or the Blacks? I think that term is derogatory to me. It kind of gives me like the N-word vibes, but just polished a little bit for them. It kind of give me like still a little excuse for them to be a little racist a little bit. I don't know. I just think that word is just racist to me.
Okay, well, let's read what we have on here.
So, Black and African Americans are not always interchangeable. African American was typically used to refer to descent of people from Africa who were enslaved.
Some people prefer the term Black because they do not identify as African and or American, because they can't trace their lineage back to Africa, or because being Black isn't just about race, it's an entire culture.
Some still identify as Black and African American and use the terms interchangeably for themselves depending on the situation, like me.
So we took to Instagram and we asked everybody, which one do you like to be referred as? Which one do you like to be called? So 73% of y'all voted and said, I like to be called African American, and 27% of y'all voted and said, I like to be called Black American. So the question was, which do you like to be called? And I said, I like to be called Black because I don't know. I just really don't know. African American was just usually, one, I don't like to be called African American because it was a word made by white people for Black people. So it was just like another word for them to stamp on us, because at first we went from, slaves to Negroes to color. We went from slaves to colors to Negroes, and then to African Americans. And I just really never liked that word. It never sat right within my spirit, because it was just like, we don't know if we are African or not. Yes, we are Americans because we are born here. We are citizens of America, and I have my citizenship here in America. But I can't understand where you're coming from of like, okay, white people saying like, oh, the Blacks, because the Blacks they have, if the older generation or even the younger people say like the Blacks, as they try to use it as a derogatory they say it in a derogatory manner and with the nasty connotation behind it when they say it. But
why I don't like it, I just think it's disrespect. I don't know. I just think the disrespect comes behind it when they say blacks or black people. That whole black people, the two-word combo black people really just does something to me in general, because they be like, oh, y'all people, and then for them to throw the color in front of it, it's just like, okay,
which one would you rather be preferred to call? Something that you're not? Or
well, because on different applications, there other other races, there aren't colors named. Like for white people, it's not white, it's Caucasian. On most applications for African Americans, it say black. It doesn't say.
It says black / African American.
I rarely see the / African American. I always just see black.
Well, I would say, white people, they reside from the mountains of Caucasus, so that's why they are called Caucasians. But back to the original point of, we don't know where the hell we come from. So it's kind of like where they just said black is not about per se the color, but it's more of the culture. Because when we talk about black culture and we talk about the things that black culture has done, then we get into that. I feel as if I can understand what you're saying, that when white people, they feel like, oh, they say the blacks. I can give you that. But I feel as if we as a people, if you are born in America, you are black, 9 times out of 10, you don't know where you come from. And so I think it's just better if we do refer to ourselves as black, because it's the culture. Because one, don't call me something that I don't know what I am. It's almost, and I hear a lot of older people say that word, like African American, is like a trigger word, because it's triggering, because it's saying like, you put this stamp on me as if you know where I come from. Like, this is just a broad generalization of, okay, we just snatched y'all from Africa, but they also stretched out west when they started pushing slaves into the United States. So just because the first peoples from Africa doesn't mean that the rest that they got them from were from Africa. So if we're saying, we're putting this stamp on you saying, oh, you're African American, it's just like, how the hell do you know? Because you're the same people that snatched us from our homeland, and we would know what we are. And I understand also like the other races, like Latinos, Hispanics, other ethnicities, because when we get into like ethnicity versus race, those are two different things. And I think that's the thing where people get messed up at, is like ethnicity versus race.
Well, people do it with the Latinos and the Hispanics as well, because everybody just assume, oh, they're all from Mexico, or they're all just Mexican, or they have a Mexican descent, when reality, they're not. There's Puerto Ricans, there's Dominicans, there's Haitians, there's Cubans, there's other ethnicities out there, but we just always just jam everybody into one broad category.
Because I would say our ethnicity is black. Because ethnicity is culture. It's basically culture, tradition, and like family bond. That's ethnicity. That's your ethnicity as black. Because like black things that as black people do, like we do certain things differently from other people. But then your race would be, African American, or like American, if you want to. But
as an ethnicity?
No. I would say that your ethnicity, like I said, your ethnicity would,
I thought you were saying American would be another ethnicity.
No. No. And then race is basically, it says race is refers to a group of sharing outward physical characteristics and some commons of culture and history. So race and ethnicity are tricky because it's like, okay, it's kind of the same thing. And it says ethnicity refers to markers acquired from the group with which one shares cultural, traditional, and family bonds.
Mm.
So it can be tricky because it's kind of the same thing, but it's not. Because our race would be black because it says the physical characteristics black. You know, we have the brown skin, dark brown skin, or brown skin, no matter shades. And then history. And then it says ethnicity refers to markers acquired from the group with which one shares cultural, traditional, and family bonds. But I don't know. I just never really could get down with the African American thing. It was just like, and then it just sounds so.
Actually, I'm kind of glad we both had different perspectives on this because it kind of gives us and the listeners something different to hear and think about, because, you know, some people might agree with you, some people might agree with me, some people might not agree with neither one of us.
Yeah. Call that whole pink.
Right. So,
but I would definitely,
it's your preference, you know.
I think, yeah, and I think it's also too. Now I see a lot of us are saying brown, which I do like, you know, because we are brown, we aren't black, you know. But I think once we started calling ourselves brown, and then that's when it was like black and brown people, and then they started including like other people in that brown. It's just like we can't have nothing to ourselves.
The girls, they just want to jam us into one big category, like we one big people. But, you know, the real brown girls like me and you, we will always still be the last ones to get anything, to be chosen for anything.
You talking about as in black people?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right. I'm going to make sure we was on the. Okay, black people. Yeah, you know, we always get the bottom of the barrel, the short end of the stick, and it's just like what, but I can understand where Smokey Robinson point comes in, because Smokey Robinson is of a different generation. So back then they didn't have all those technical like if you think about the way that race identity, just think about the way identity has shifted throughout the decades and the years. It's very complex now. Before it was like man, woman, black, white, gay, straight, or it was just like that. But now we have man, women, trans men, trans women, non-gender conforming people, non-binary people. We have people who are androgynous, and then now we have, like I said, we have those. We have black, white, not saying Latinos or Hispanics, and they haven't been here. They have been here, but now it's starting to be more inclusive. Or, you know, just saying, hey, this is me. And then, especially with sexuality, the spectrum of sexuality, lesbian, gay, bisexual, you know, just a lot, you know, questioning and it's. So I think that the conversation identity has really shifted, because before, like, think about like monogamy. Like before it was like monogamy. Now we have polygamy, polyamorous, not ethical non-monogamy. So it's like I can understand where he's coming from, because like back then it was just like black or white, and back in that day it was just black or white. You know. It was just black or white, and then, you know, the Mexicans, they stayed in their spot, and they you know, Hispanics, they did what they did, and I think that's the thing with their generation is kind of. I think that's the other thing harder about older generations about him, because he is like, you know, even though he is black, but he's from a different generation, like, you know, our grandparents or even
a part of what, the baby boomers.
Yeah. So
yeah, you know, they really be having a heart attack about all the shit we go through now, or the shit what we want to be. They really
But I think it's more of, and I've always said this too, like the conversation of like gay, straight, or like black or white, or like even like with polygamy and all of this stuff. And people are like, oh my God, the world has changed so much. No, people have always been doing these things. They are
accepted.
Say it one more time for the people.
It always hasn't been accepted.
And sometimes if you think about certain laws, you couldn't be just outright with your truth, because gay marriage just literally got legalized in 2015, I think. 2015, all of the states across the United States have got the rights to gay marriage. Think about black people.
And that is crazy. People who were in love couldn't get married because it was against the law or wasn't welcome. Like, that shit is just so
because the standard was built on homophobia, like we said, homophobia, misogyny, racism. It was built on, the system was built on that. And a lot of times, and I've also seen this, back to the show Bel Air we was talking about, and Uncle Phil on there, if you haven't watched Bel Air, Bel Air's a really good show. Uncle Phil is running for DA of California, I think Los Angeles, one of them two. He's running for the DA, district attorney. And he was telling his nephew, Will, he was like, the system is broken. But Will was like, no, the system is doing what the system needs to do, because this is how they wanted it to work. But now we're seeing, hey, our founding fathers, the men that raped, killed, and steal for this land, that did all the treacherous things, they built our country and all of this upon this. We're seeing the cracks and the slips, because another thing, like, black people weren't seen as human when we were slaves.
I don't think the system is broken. I think the system was built to be an upper hand for the other players, the other team.
Yeah, like I'm saying, it's doing what it needs to do.
Yeah, I think that maybe we need to look at it as in a different light, not saying like it's broken. Like, don't get me wrong, it is fucked up towards other people as far as black people, but I think is more of a cheat code to other races to get away with shit and be able to do what they want.
Yeah, like a lot of the laws, and a lot of them laws were for, we just don't, for white people, and especially white men.
Right.
And you know, it's so funny, because now that I'm thinking about it, I don't know who asked me this, and they asked me, they was like, do you think you have privilege as a man? And when I sat in it, I was like, I actually do have privilege as a man. Just certain things that, even though I'm not saying that I will be above white women or white men, but as we know, it's like a hierarchy. It's kind of like white men, white women, and then black men, and then black women, you know? Mm-hmm. And so, and I was thinking about it, because at first I was like, I don't have privilege as a man, but I was thinking about in my blackness, me being a black man. But now as I'm thinking about it, like, if I take away the black, and I'm there saying as a man, I'm like, I do have privilege as a man. Like, I can do certain things that women can't do.
Yeah, and that's a whole nother conversation that a lot of shit is just so fucked up about, that we as men can get away with cheating on, if we're heterosexual, cheating on our wives, going out, having different babies with. I can go to each state and get a woman pregnant in each state, and boom, it's okay, because I'm a man, I could do that. But if I was a woman and I got pregnant 50 times, oh, you's a hoe.
You ran through. That nobody want to be with you.
He did. And then, you know, you also can flip it vice versa, where women can be more expressing themselves, sexually. They can tap into their inner masculinity. But as soon as a man does it, even if he's not gay, oh, you zesty, bruh.
Yeah. And I think that's also too about, I don't know. I think it's more of the women who are not. Ooh, tread lightly, because I don't want to be that podcast that's talking about Black women.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying anything negative about Black women, mind you, by the way, but I'm saying about how some men, they feel like they can't express themselves, and I'm gonna shut my mouth on that because I can't get my words right. I can't say what I want to say.
Yeah, I had to bite my tongue earlier when we was talking about something else too.
But it's nothing bad about Black women. Just want to put that out there. I'm not trying to bash Black women because I know how y'all. We're not trying to be that podcast where we niggas just sitting around on the mics talking shit. Like, no, we're talking about men who want to express themselves, and a lot of times y'all are just, I'm gonna say y'all as a people, as the Black community, we can be harsh.
Yeah. And
I think it's more of, but one thing I will say, I'm loving this new generation. I love all Black women, but especially our generation, is because we're noticing that like the men that our mamas and them and our grannies made are fucked up. And so they're like, you know what? We're going to do our best to make the next generation of Black men better. I do love that about the Black woman that's having babies now. It's saying like, hey, you can cry. Hey, do this. This is what makes you a man. Provide for a woman. And I think a lot of times, I would say like our mother's generation and them, when it came to Black men, they were very coddling because they felt like, oh, the boy need a daddy in the house. The boy need a daddy in the house, which is true. But I think it's more of now, it's less coddling and more being realistic and being honest and having open conversations and just not, like I said, coddling the fuck out of these niggas.
I think first we need to start with, let's not do these short-term marriages. Let's marry to die with each other. I think first we have to start with, let's have a complete household instead of, oh, my mom and daddy was together for this and this, and then they left, and then that's when the trauma started. Or, oh, my mama or my daddy was never there, or it was just my mama, or it was just my daddy. So now since the other parent is gone, the trauma starts there.
I know what you're saying. Okay, so if y'all interpret it like me, you kind of took it, you was like, huh? But I know what you're saying. You're basically saying like, let's start bringing our next generation of Black people up in two-parent households.
Yes.
Let's give them that.
Saying, like you said, instead of saying that, oh, a mama needs to be in the house for the girl or a daddy needs to be in the house for the boy, when all actuality, both parents needs to be in the house for both
whatever
or whatever child you have.
And you know what? And I understand, and I can feel you too. And I think it's more of and I've also, this goes back to about how Black women being under Black men. If you think about our grandmother's generation, they had no choice but to marry these men and stick with them until the end. I hear a lot of people say like, well, our grandparents' generation of marriages lasted way longer. It's because your grandma couldn't leave your granddaddy because she left and she would be goddamn homeless because women barely had to even work. So, and a lot of time it was that time, like if you think about it, like our grandparents, they grew up in the 60s. My great grandmother couldn't leave her husband if he cheated on her and go out and move. They couldn't do that because of the time. Like women really started to become independent in the 70s and the 80s. It was because it was rules and laws in place to hold women down. Women, think about the women's suffrage movement. Come on now, if you don't know about the women's suffrage movement, read about it. But I see it a lot of times. I hear a lot of people say like, well, we need to get back to our grandparents' generation. And I always say no, because a lot of them, they stayed in that stuff because they stayed in it because they just did. And it's not good. But I want all of us, our next generation, to have healthy marriages, to have, you know, two-parent houses to raise our children up in, even though it's not the traditional mom and dad household. If it's mom and mom, dad and dad, or even if it's two dads and a mom, a polygamous relationship. But I think it's more of like just raising our next generation of Black people up with love, compassion, and, you know, just really giving them that firm foundation. But I would definitely say we don't need to get back to our grandparents, because it was a lot of dirt that happened in their marriages, and they had to stay in them because they had no other choice.
Yeah, let's talk about the order. Shout out to Kaya.
Shout out to Pika Kaya. And you know, that's so crazy. And they ain't talking about Black people in marriages. I'm loving the increase, the incline of Black people getting married. I'm loving that.
Yes. Because Because I was going to say, our parents' generation, it kind of was like a up and down type of thing.
It was, yeah, I know what you mean. It's kind of like, ooh, I have some friends whose parents are married, and then some friends whose parents are.
Yeah, and I think now, another thing is, I think now that we're not getting married early, if that makes sense, like we're actually learning our partner. I think another thing is people rush into marriages as well. Like, oh, when I'm 24, I need to be married with 3 kids and my life needs to start woo. Sis, that man is going to change within 3 years. I just saw this on, I think, the Shade Room, if I'm not mistaken. Somebody said that people renew their vows because you're renewing your vows to that new person. People change over time. So the person you married back in 2008 isn't the same person in 2022. Those time periods and the things that have occurred, especially like the pandemic, the Black Lives Matter movement, and just things that have happened really can affect somebody, especially this pandemic, because this pandemic has really affected so many people, and me.
Yeah. And I think, and that's another thing too, I would say with the pandemic, is that it was some people realized that they had, like you said, they had been married since 2008, but the routine was wake up, work, pick those kids up, after school activities, dinner, showers, bed. And then when the pandemic hit, it's like everything stopped. So you're not doing your daily routine. It's like, when you go to work, you go to work for how many hours a day? Almost at least 8 hours a day. So that's from what, 9 to 5?
I think the pandemic was a timeout for everybody. I feel like we were moving too much. We had everything under control, and God was like, hold on now. Y'all need to sit down for a minute because y'all doing a little too much. Let's put a break to some of this shit y'all got going on.
And and I think that's what people realized, is that they loved each other so much that they had to be together, or they hate each other so much they had to leave each other, because there was a lot of divorces happening during the pandemic. It was because, like, oh my God, I'm stuck in this house with this man all day, every day. And I realized,
and I
hate the way that he walked. I hate the way he talked. I hate the way he put his sock on. Why did he put his left sock on before he put his right sock on? I hate the way he brushed his teeth. He started from the top to the bottom, not the bottom from the top. I hate the way he brushed his hair. You just notice things, and it was just like,
a lot of bullshit.
Yeah, and a lot of people noticed a lot of things. It was just like, ugh.
We're not even necessarily bullshit. Shit that you never caught on at the beginning.
Because you was too busy doing with your day-to-day life. You was too busy going to work, going to school, pick the kids, do this, do that. You didn't go to the gym, working out, going to church. You was too busy doing all that. Like, and it's so crazy because when the pandemic hit, I never had that much of a break in my life, like mentally, physically, and emotionally. It was just like everything stopped, and we all just like it was.
Like we literally all were doing the same thing. Everybody not even America, everybody in the world. This was a world pandemic.
And I'm gonna be real, like America, we had a little panini for a couple of months, but think about the people over there overseas. They was like locked up, like they for months. Like I think we were from like March to like, because we were from like March to May to like May to June, because I went to Vegas in July. And that's when the world started opening back up. We had barely been locked up.
They were actually locked up even well longer into the following fall, to the fall. I know some countries, they was like, we don't care what they over there doing. That's not, and that's why they opened up a lot faster after us.
That's why they don't have to wear masks. That's why they don't have to get fully vaccinated. That's why they don't have to do certain things, because at the time we did have a shitty leader. Trump, he didn't believe in all the COVID and blah, blah, blah. Even though people was dying left and right, the hospitals was running out of stuff, beds, and people was just dying. The morgues was full. Have y'all ever heard of a morgue being full? Even though people die every day, like,
child, it was
the morgue is full.
New York was full of dead bodies.
Yes. And he was talking about the COVID ain't real. I'm so glad we ain't got him in office. Even though Biden, I'm still praying about him. I don't know. It's like, huh? I'm still looking because he.
I think if Trumpy Poo was still in office,
Trumpy Poo,
him and Putin like best friends. If he was still in office, what's going on right now? It'd be a chop. No shade. He would have had to have one conversation with Putin, and Putin would have set his ass down. For no shade. If y'all don't know what I'm talking about, y'all need to go do y'all research on Trump and Putin's relationship. Because if you don't remember, Trump was always flying to Russia. He always had a meeting.
He's wreaking havoc here in his own country.
Oh.
Well, y'all, we about to hop into our next segment. It is called the segment y'all all love. I heard a lot of people say that y'all love this segment. It is the So You Want to Be Heard segment of the show. And we have a question. So you gonna read it?
You can read it.
Okay. Okay, so we have a question. Okay, it says, "Hey bitches, Dave friend put me onto y'all's show. Also, I'm from the Natty. Here's my question, and me and this girl. Here's my question. Me and this girl I work with been chilling, and she real cool, but she is so dick dumb. We are not real close friends, but it's to the point it's getting sad. She follows his current girlfriend home every time she comes to the store and etc. For us not being close friends, should I tell her she needs to stop or let her continue being dumb?" Well, you didn't leave a name, but thank you. Thank you.
Hold on now. First of all, sis took me out when she said she followed his current girlfriend home. So you a side bitch and you crazy?
I'm gonna tell you, me and Dave say this all the time on the show. Side bitchism, cheating, you sleeping with a married man, a man that's in a relationship, or you just giving it up to a man that's not our ministry. I'm gonna say it again one more time. We do not support side chickisms. Y'all have been sending us questions about being side chicks, sleeping with men that's engaged, men that's married, having sex with men and his dating the cousin and dating him, and which one should you lead?
We never told a story that we're sleeping with somebody else's man.
That is not our ministry. And we got a lot of questions about sleeping with married men. That is not our ministry. I promise you.
Wrong show, sis.
Wrong show. Y'all better knock next door. Knock next door.
Not at her radio studio.
Not at her. I'm sorry. I don't know what it is about y'all. Y'all be dating these men that be in relationships, and I don't know. Do we give like homewrecker vibes? Because we get a lot of questions about.
I think we always talk about our man CB and Mr. Cuff. We never talked about Mr. Cuff or CB having another.
Big X came back into the picture, but that's
one or two.
One.
Wait, hold on.
It's not like
OG one.
OG came back into the picture.
Wrap up. Get off air. I
can tell you a little bit. It ain't like that. It ain't like that. But I was
air edition.
But But you know what's so funny? Hold on, wait. Let me say this. You know what's so funny? Because this morning he texted me. He said, good morning. And when he texted me, he said, good morning. Something said, go on TikTok. And I'm like, go to TikTok. It was God. Okay. God said, log on TikTok. So I go to TikTok. And the first video that pops up is, I don't know who needs to hear this, but do not let them back into your life. They showed you who they are. They showed you what they're capable of. So leave it at that. And I needed to hear that. And I said, well, you will not be receiving a good morning text from me. Because, and it was so crazy. You know this, and I don't want to say our listeners really don't know, but like y'all, me and Becca went through a lot. I was up and down, stressed, weight falling over the place, and like she said, I was like hailing off the Diary of a Mad Black Woman. But anyways, we didn't got off topic. Now,
first off, friend with no name.
Mm-hmm.
I need you to know, don't get into this, because this bitch is a crazy psycho bitch following the hoe home. You step back. Don't tell her nothing. Let her continue to do what she gonna do, because you don't want to be a part of none of this, because this gonna get nasty and dirty. This gonna get real nasty and dirty. Trust me. It's just a matter of time. You don't want to be a part. You don't want to be like Momo.
I would say, yeah, I would definitely say that's none of your business. I always say this: we all need a period in our life where we are dumb over men, because it then makes you the person that you are in the future. And then it realizes, then you start to realize what you will take and what you will not take from no nigga. So I would say let her be dumb, because by the time she get done being dumb, she gonna look at herself like I did 2 years ago and say, damn, I was really dumb.
No,
sometimes you have to let your friends be dumb. And I can understand your point, because I've been in both of the shoes. I've been dumb and I've been watching people be dumb. And it's just like, and it was like, when I was dumb, it was just like, and you know, you always have people saying, you need to stop talking to him, leave him alone, blah, blah. And it's just like, anyway, so.
Yes, but girl, just listen.
And then you have those people where you're watching your friends being dumb and you're kind of like, leave him alone, leave him alone. It's just like, you can't. But I would definitely say give her words of wisdom. Because, you know, I would say, no, don't give her words of wisdom. I would say random checkups were nice. That was nice for me when I was going through my situation, and like when I was getting treated like the damn dirt on the damn ground. It was like when I had people like randomly text me and check up, I'm like, hey, just call and say, you know. But I would definitely say be kind to her. You know, just be nice. I understand sometimes you just want to grab her and shake her up and smack her upside her head like, get it together. But you can't, because that's not your place. And y'all gonna laugh about it when she get done being dumb for that man.
Or really not, if you don't want to be nice, because she did say they're not close friends, and she basically said she wanted to tell the bitch she done. Girl, you could just listen. That's most of the times, friends or not, I'm more so speaking to the friends. Most of the time, the dumb bitch, we don't want to hear what you would do, or we don't want your advice.
Yeah. We
just want you to listen. Listen to me tell you how dumb I am over this nigga, and just be like, girl, we all been. Like,
yeah, because we all been there.
Girl. If it's me, I would leave. I wouldn't even shut the fuck up, bitch, because you won't. We just want you and your two wide fat ass ears to listen to us complain. Or not even complain, just vent. Because sometimes, even just outside of relationship shit, sometimes we just want to shit off our chest. I didn't ask for your quarters and nickels, bitch. You barely even got quarters and nickels to rub together. I just want you to listen to me, okay? So, friend, don't get into it. Let her be dumb. Let her do her dumb shit. And other friend, the one who is a side chick, if you ever listen to this, stop following her home for you be in jail.
Yeah, and I would definitely say there is no man on this planet worth you following his girlfriend home. Think about it. What if one day she just felt happy and she pulls out a mouse tool and she just, she just skadoodles your ass?
Yeah, girl, like if she just noticed, like, damn, every day this car following me, you don't know who she calling in a car and another car get behind you and take you off the road. Like, you gotta be safe, sissy pop. That's not okay.
Yeah, I would definitely say, girl, that if you, I'm talking, and I would say, everybody lift your hands. If you listen and lift your hands, everybody lift your hands. Okay. We lift them up. We're going to say a prayer, okay? I'm going to say a prayer for my sisters. Father God, in the name of Jesus, I pray the spirit of loneliness and desperateness off of my sisters, okay? Lord, they're following the boyfriend, girlfriends home. They're sleeping with men that are engaged, and they are listening to sweet nothings that these men are whispering in their ear during pillow talk.
Come on, saints.
Father God, I just pray that you heal these women in their heart, these women and these men, because there's been some men sending in questions saying the same doggone thing. Heal my brothers and sisters of the brokenness that is in their heart. I don't know if it's daddy issues, mommy issues, abandonment issues, whatever the issues may be, Lord, just heal them. Because I don't want Sissy Pop to get popped because she keeps following people home.
Yeah,
in Jesus' name we pray.
Amen.
Well, y'all, this concludes the episode here at Heard Radio. And don't forget to follow us on our socials at Instagram at Heard Radio Pod, on TikTok at Heard Radio Pod, and at Twitter at Heard Radio Pod. You can follow me at That's Kyren, ThatsKyren.
And you can follow me at That_boy _day. I'm sorry, y'all, on Instagram. And you can follow my TikTok at Quan D-Don with 3 E's, not 2.
Quan D-Don. And yes, y'all can follow me on TikTok at That's Kyren. All of my social handles are the same: YouTube, Instagram, OnlyFans, and hallelujah. And until next time, I'll holla.